Hey guys, can you hear me? All right, it's a quiet group. Let's get excited. So I'm going to talk to you about adoption. So there's been a lot of talk about theories, where crypto's going, but we rarely talk about real use cases, what's actually happening on the ground, how people are actually using cryptocurrency in their everyday lives. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been living in Africa for the last 4 years, building a fintech company in order to revolutionize the financial systems throughout emerging markets. And I want to share with you today our journey, the problems that exist specifically in Africa, and why blockchain and cryptocurrency is already driving a revolution within markets throughout the continent and beyond. So 54 countries, 1.2 billion people, 2,000 languages, 863 million mobile connections, and 298 million internet users. This is Africa, and it's the future. Africa has the fastest growing middle class in the world. It is the youngest population with the average age between 20 and 32 years, and income is on the rise. So consumer spending is actually set to hit over $2.1 trillion by 2025. So a lot of people don't really recognize, but Africa is booming. There are some of the fastest growing economies in the world. It is what China was 30 years ago. And with all of this growth, there's a lot of excitement, but there's still also a massive, massive problem. 792 million Africans operate outside of the formal financial system. And remember, there's 1.2 billion people on the continent. So why is this? Why do people not have access, or why do they not participate in the formal system? There's two reasons: access and cost. So access can mean a number of things. You're geographically located far away, you don't have the right identification system to open up a bank account, you're purely intimidated by the financial system and walking into a bank, or you don't have a credit history, so you cannot access credit. The other issue that a lot of people don't talk about is cost. The systems throughout emerging markets, and especially in Africa, are cost prohibitive. So consumers are actually disincentivized from participating in a financial system. So let's look at the systems that exist today and why are they failing. Most of you have probably heard about the unbanked. It's a buzzword people like to talk about, like blockchain. The unbanked, the unbanked. But what does that really mean? Why are people quote unquote unbanked? Why are they underserved? Why can they not access services? Or why are they choosing not to participate in the system today? So for one, banks. They are inaccessible and very costly. So for some reason, banks have taken this Western world approach and have said, let's put it in Africa, let's put it throughout emerging markets, where consumers have completely different behaviors, completely different lifestyles, completely different wants, completely different needs. So the entire concept of banking does not fit into these consumers' lives. Imagine going to your bank and wanting to participate. You have a fee to deposit, a fee to withdraw, a fee to transact. You get charged walking into a bank and asking a question. Any way a bank can charge you, they will charge you. And that's how banks in emerging markets, especially in Africa, are generating their revenue, which alone disincentivizes participation. The other piece that some of you may have heard about is mobile money. So telcos. Telcos around the world are becoming these financial institutions. Some of you might know M-Pesa, which is kind of like the star child in Africa. But what most people don't know is that their models are very flawed and are not actually designed for the consumer. So what's interesting about mobile money is that in 2016, over $269 billion were processed through mobile money. And of those transactions, 2/3 were less than 80 cents in value. This means that consumers around the world are sending very small amounts of money and they're spending very small amounts of money. They have a behavior around micro payments. However, the fees are extremely high. Imagine spending 75 cents at the store and getting charged 10% on that transaction. This is what most consumers deal with every day, and this is why they're choosing not to use the systems. This is why cash is still king. Still today, on the continent in Africa, 94% of transactions are conducted in cash. I can see it, I can touch it, I trust it. I know at the end of the month, my mattress is not going to have any fees being taken from my cash pot. I know that no one's going to, cut me or try to skim me on some fees. I trust my cash, and I trust that it's in my mattress. I might lose it. There might be some security problems, but I have control over it. So I want you to meet somebody. This is one of my friend, Obert. So I live in Cape Town. That's where our company is based. Obert was one of my Uber drivers, and he's from Harare, Zimbabwe, and every month he has to send money back to his mother. And he told me that he has 3 ways, basically, to send money back home. The first is to use a MoneyGram Western Union type service. Just to move money across the border will cost him 10% on that transaction, not to mention the fee that his mother will have to take in order to receive the money and take it into fiat currency. His second option is to literally give a bag of cash to a bus driver who's driving across the border. Once that bus driver gets there, Obert hopes that his mother will be able to find the bus driver and of course, hope that the cash will actually be there. The last option is a 5% fee. He knows this guy in Cape Town who has a friend in Harare. He gives him money in Cape Town, and then this guy calls somebody up, and they do this weird, business exchange, and we don't really know if it's going to end up the right way and if his mom on the other end is going to get the money, but it's a 5% fee, so it's less. So out of all of these options, not only are they costly, but they can take 3 to 5 to 10 days for money to actually hit the end recipient of that money. So, and it also requires Obert to take a massive amount of risk. And he's doing all of this because he's living on a few dollars a day. He's just trying to get by. When you're living on a few dollars a day, you'll do whatever you can to remove those fees in your life. So where do we go from here? We know that the systems are not designed around consumer behavior. We know that they actually disincentivize participation. How do we solve this problem? We've been working on this for almost 5 years. We truly believe that the way to drive a financial revolution throughout the world, but specifically in Africa, is through blockchain. We finally have the opportunity to decentralize a system, to give power back to consumers who deserve to have that power, to put trust, to put choice back into their lives. So we spent years working with banks in Africa, literally banging our heads against the wall, struggling to work with them because we've always had one vision: 0 fees. In order to drive adoption, we need to remove those barriers, and one of those barriers include fees. Banks don't want to remove fees. They don't care about customers. That's when we started looking at blockchain, and we discovered that there was a way to solve this problem, that with just blockchain technology, it enabled us to move value instantly and at no cost, but it also enabled us to do many other things. And I know this because in the first 2 months of launching, we acquired over 100,000 users in Uganda alone. This is 100,000 consumers in Uganda buying our cryptocurrency, using that cryptocurrency to pay for their electricity, their water bills, to send money in-country and cross-border. We've been building an ecosystem for years focused on adoption, and I'm going to talk to you about that in more detail. So Walla is a blockchain-powered financial services platform. We are this consumer-facing app that provides 0-fee products to our consumers. So we said we need to make it so easy for people to participate that it's better than cash. Remove the fees, make it so that they can put money in the system easily. They can buy every product and service they need. They can earn money through microjobs. They can borrow money in a global liquidity network. They can do whatever they need. It's their financial life. So to give you a sense of how it works, we issued a cryptocurrency last year called Dala, and this is what our 100,000 plus users are transacting with today. Let's see if this works. So there's 3 levels here. So Walla is the consumer-facing solution. We sit on top of Dala, which is this decentralized financial system that we are building out. And Dala is a multi-chain crypto asset. So we issued on the Ethereum blockchain, but we also recognize that with all of these blockchains being built, there are so many that solve a specific use case. So obviously Ethereum has the smart contract capability that we need when we think about providing loans to our users, but what about instant and no-cost payments? Today, Ethereum is not where it needs to be in terms of scaling, but Stellar is. Stellar enables us to move money instantly and at no cost. So we have a multi-chain approach where, depending on the financial use case, we can move one chain to the other, and our users will never see. And that's the most important thing. In order to drive adoption, it needs to be user-friendly. We don't want our users to know that this is crypto and blockchain. That doesn't matter. All that people care about is that the technology works, that you save them money, and then you make their lives a lot easier. So the three things that we have in the product include the market. So when people buy Dala from us, they can instantly go buy electricity for their house. They can pay for their water bills. They can pay for their kids' school fees, buy their airtime and data. They do this all in the app with the Dala cryptocurrency. We also have micro jobs. So we recognize that the best way to drive adoption is to get people to earn in crypto. That's how they're going to want to keep saving it and using it and operating in that currency. So we actually provide micro jobs. If anyone knows of Amazon Mechanical Turk, it's the process of completing small micro tasks. So we, along with other organizations who use our platform, pay consumers for completing small things. Fill out this survey, you get paid in cryptocurrency. Consume advertisements and you get paid in cryptocurrency. So there's an array of things that you can do now with cryptocurrency because you can pay in micro amounts, whereas with fiat currency you were unable to do that before. We also are building out a global liquidity network. What's exciting about crypto is you open a borderless system. So now someone in the US who holds Dala can give a peer-to-peer loan to someone in Uganda who needs to buy a new, a new bike to expand their Uber driving business. It unleashes so many opportunities that were never there before. And one of the most important things is distribution. So anyone can issue a cryptocurrency and say, here, now use it. But unless you can do something with it, it holds absolutely no value. So for the last few years, we've been focusing on building out distribution. So when a user comes to us, they can buy Dala through an agent. So I can go around the corner. I'm in Uganda. I can go around the corner. I can give him cash. He now deposits Dala into my account. I can also send a mobile money payment directly through my phone that happens instantly. And if I have a bank account, I can send a bank account transfer and buy Dala that way. Once you have Dala in your app, you can now move it out through a peer-to-peer payment. You need to send money to your mother in Zimbabwe, like Obert. He sends it to her instantly. You go buy products in the marketplace instantly. You go to an agent and cash out. You go send a mobile money payment instantly and cash out, or you send it to a bank and cash out. So we're focused on building this ecosystem so people can easily move in and out of the system while continually adding value to them. And just some background on where we're at today. Like I said, we acquired over 100,000 users in the first few months that we launched. We processed over 3 million transactions, and that includes peer-to-peer payments, market purchases, deposits, withdrawals. The average transaction size is about $1.30, which is not surprising because people are operating in very micro amounts. And the most popular purchase is airtime and electricity. And airtime, for those of you who don't know, is our mobile minutes. And where are we going? So right now we're focused on Uganda, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, where we currently operate. Next year, we're going to be expanding throughout the continent and beyond. Our goal is to drive more utility and value to the consumers in our network. So that means expanding remittance, cash flows, enabling people who live throughout the continent to move value instantly and at no cost. And obviously keep buying more products and services and the ability to earn through more and more micro jobs. So where's Obert today? Obert actually works closely with us. He's essentially a consultant for Walla. This is him. He now actually is able to move value instantly and at no cost. He can send money to Zimbabwe back to his mom, where before he was getting charged 10% with Western Union. He does it at 0% with Walla. And that's it. Thank you. to answer questions if anyone has any. Yeah. Yeah, so Walla is a for-profit company. We are a consumer-facing app, right? So think of like a WeChat of Africa. We generate value when consumers today buy products. So anytime they transact, they buy electricity, those service providers pay us commission for selling products on their behalf.
So you've got partnerships with those said companies. Okay, got you. Yep. Excellent. Very nice presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'll be around if anyone wants to talk about Africa. It's the future. This is where you're going to see crypto adoption. Start looking at these countries today. Thank you.